Hi, story time. This is a video about why I decided to even apply to the very competitive Moth-Inspired Paris storytelling workshop that is happening this summer and for which I am raising money through a GoFundMe in this very chaotic time in our country. A few months ago, I was taking a class, a business class. I have degrees and certifications in psychology and humanities, not in starting a business during a pandemic and then keeping it running in the years after, or it's not really post, but anyway, that's a different video. The person who was teaching the class, his name is Cole Chatterton. His business is Paradigm Swift. He's part of my networking group. And I remember sitting at a table. I was partnered with this young guy, probably, 30, I'm 50. So to me, he's a baby. And he's like, climbed to the tops of mountains. Like he's traveled all over the world. He owns this business called Ruzo's Retreat here in, outside of Portland. I've been there. It's awesome. He creates his own drinks. Like, wow, I was partnered with him for this activity, and we had to tell people like 3 things. Basically, this is how it felt. 3 things that we're ashamed of that nobody knows about us. And so 2 of the things I wrote were, I'm afraid that I don't have a lot to offer. Like I feel the insecurity about that. And then the other thing I wrote was that I am deeply, deeply afraid of failure. And the other side of that coin is I'm also deeply afraid of success, because in my observation of the world, people love to tear successful people down. So if I'm successful, then I'm just going to fail anyway. So this is what I'm dealing with. So I told him those 2 things, and he looked at me and he goes, "You can't succeed without failing." And this is what I did. For like a minute, I just sat there with my mouth open, like, how have I never thought about that? Like, you cannot succeed without failing. So I came home, and I should say, we talked at length about that. Like, what does that mean? Like, his stories, his experiences with being put in situations where he failed a lot, and he failed at different stakes. So the stakes were really low to where the stakes were really high, not actual meat. But, and I was like, oh, well, you did not die. And I consider him a successful person. So sweet. So I came home and I'm like, I remember when I believed in myself without a doubt when I was younger. There were no doubts. There was no imposter syndrome. I wanted to go to college. I went to college. I wanted to be a teacher. I was a teacher. Like, the end. I didn't stay up late. I was working too many jobs to like really worry about it. I just needed to like get it done. So I was like, I want to believe in myself like that again. So I came home and I wrote this on my mirror. And then on another mirror, I wrote this. And really, when I look at it, I kind of have to think about it because there's more than one way to interpret that. But I look at it as, how can I fail in order to succeed? So how can I get really comfortable with failing so that it doesn't cause this like ripple effect of trauma responses and stuff? And how can I believe in myself like I used to, like just without a doubt, without worrying about it? Shortly after this experience, I get this email about this Moth-Inspired, taught by Moth champions, Moth storytelling champions. And there's this workshop in Paris. It's very intense. The cost is prohibitive. I don't have the money. And I was like, I'm going to apply for it. And then the imposter syndrome came in, and I was like, no, listen to me. Have you wanted to study storytelling? Yes. Have you always wanted to go to Paris? Yes. Why wouldn't you apply? Well, there are only 20 spaces, and it's really popular. So I don't know if I'm going to get in. Okay, so you might not get in. So you might fail. Okay, let's give it a try. So I thought about DJ at Rizzo's retreat when we were doing that thing, and he's like, you know what? You can't succeed without failing. And I applied, and dang it if I didn't make it. So now I get to go and fail a bunch there in order to successfully deliver stories that will change people's lives. I would love you as part of my community to be part of this with me and travel along with me. I've got the links, I'm sure, where they need to be. And thank you very much.